Hey, listeners, thank you for tuning in. So happy to have you here. Let's get started. Today, we are going to be speaking about truly making your happiness come back into your life. Some of us along the route of life have lost it here and there, maybe to circumstances, maybe to other people, maybe to not being able to get what it is that we wanted, to disappointments, to regrets. I think it's about time we worked on this very, very seriously. So, today I want to really cover with you what are the various things that we can do, especially five specific things that you can do to start to make yourself happy again. Remember, happiness is something we generate, it's not something that we look for outside, it's not something that exists inside, but there are specific things that we need to do in our life to generate happiness. And I want to give you the five generators. The first generator that I want to go with is today is the one that is about being an observer more than the experiencer of your life. What do I mean when I say this? You see, any time in our life we don't have control over something around us, we tend to have an emotional reaction to that. So all reactions are basically you experiencing life without putting any gap between you and the observer that is inside you. I want to awaken this observer, which is the person who's experiencing and the person who's watching the person experiencing are two different people inside the same body. So let's say I enter my son's room and it's extremely messy and dirty. Right now, normally that never happens for me, but it's just an example I want to take. So I open the room and it's extremely dirty, and immediately I start to feel anger because from the last 3 days I've been reminding him to clean his room. Now, instead of just shouting, screaming, and becoming, a mother that will not be much appreciated, I can immediately move into the observer mode and say, okay, I am feeling angry. How do I want to express this? And rather than expressing it loudly, can I explain my anger to my son? Now, what have I done? I have moved into a certain amount of self talk. When we have this level of self talk with ourselves, we create the gap, and that works like magic. So today onwards, anytime any emotion shows up in you which you don't really feel is the one you want to spread in the world, maybe it's negative, maybe it's aggression, maybe it is any emotion that you really don't want to put out in the world, you can just create this gap where you do a little bit of self talk and say, what would my higher self respond to this? How would my higher self respond to this? How would I like to handle this situation? Who do I want to be in this situation? And such cute, nice questions you ask yourself, and you'll start to notice that, oh my God, the journey will become so different. And instead of just losing yourself, you will start to own the calm. And when we own the calm, we own eternal happiness in so many different ways, because one of the ways to lose your happiness is to lose your calm. True or not? The other thing you can do is start to notice also that what our emotions are is basically the immediate response, but what meaning we give it is what creates our feelings. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're going to a haunted house. What are you going to feel in the haunted house? Scared, jumping here and there because suddenly some things are coming out of different corners. Now, while you are feeling the emotion of fear in the haunted house, when you come out of the haunted house, what meaning you give it? You will see some friends laughing their way out and some friends completely devastated by the experience. Why is it that two people go through the same emotions and yet having different feelings at the end? Because it's what and how we process it in our mind. So I'm going to highly recommend today onwards that start to process your emotions better. That will start to help you. So if you come home and you're still feeling scared, that means there's a story you're giving to yourself there that's not serving you, because now you are in a safe environment in your house, yet you're feeling the same fear that you felt in the haunted house, right? So you want to start to give yourself a fresh story. So emotions are what shows up immediately, which you can use as feedback and give it a nice, interesting story so that your feelings do not turn negative. For example, for me, when fear or doubt show up, I tell myself, oh, that means I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. So the feeling I have is of excitement, even though I'll be feeling nervous. Let's say I'm doing my webinar for the first time, or I'm doing a podcast for the first time. Inside my heart, I'm feeling nervous. But actually, what's happening is that I can take that emotion and turn it into the feeling of excitement because, oh wow, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm going to do something new. I'm going to impact a new set of people. This is so amazing. True or not? So it's always about taking your emotions, using it as feedback, and truly creating better feelings out of that. Also, I think happiness, a lot gets decided in happiness is where we are spending or focusing our energy on. If we are focusing our energy a lot on our past, especially the past that is not such great memories, for example, we are focusing on some injustice that happened, some trauma that happened, we are focusing on something in our past that did not work out for us, which is where normally our mind likes to live. Our mind likes to live in anything negative said to us, because our brain absorbs that faster, because it always feels the need to protect us. And because it needs to protect us, it looks at negative news a lot more than positive, and that goes deeper, and positivity remains shallow. So you want to start to reverse this. You want to take your positivity and make it deep by thinking about it a lot more, and make all of the negative stuff shallow. Now, another way of doing this is that instead of spending too much time in your past in your mind, start to spend a lot more time in your beautiful future. So instead of looking at what did someone say, the injustice, the miscommunication, the misunderstandings, and all of that, see if you can start to focus on where is it you want to take your life. What is it that you will be doing 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now? Start to spend a lot of time daydreaming. Can I tell you, there's a clear distinction between the people who remain stuck in their life and people who start to work towards their success. And one of those clear distinctions is definitely where are they spending most of their brain space or thought. Okay, if you're thinking too much about your past, you're going to remain stuck in your past. You go and think more about your future, you're going to start to create something so fabulous that your past will stop mattering. Sometimes for some of us, it almost feels like it isn't even from this lifetime, because we've totally been able to eradicate all of that negativity that used to live within us. I think another thing to do, very important, is to not remain a slave of our mood. Too many of us are thinking that, you know what, I have mood swings, I have this, I tend to become temperamental, or now what we have to start to look at is that, okay, this is what my mood is feeling like right now, but how can I control it rather than it control me? Some of us give in to our moods. One silly argument with our spouse or something someone says, and we can actually ruin our whole day reliving it a million times, or what we should have said, or whatever it is. Now, you want to be really careful that you don't want to become a slave of your moods. Remember, our moods get decided more from our environment, and then we have no control, and we land up wasting a lot of our time, energy, personality on doing nothing, because we are waiting for our mood to be fine, then only we will operate at our 100% efficiency. Instead, if you truly want to choose happiness, start to become a controller of your mood. So ask yourself, what is it I'm feeling? I'm feeling irritated. Okay, where is this irritation coming from? Can I figure that out? Okay, my irritation is because of this person having said this to me, or I don't even know why I'm feeling irritated, or it could be just PMSing that's making me irritated or cranky. So once you understand that, oh, this is what it is, now what can I do to get over it at the fastest speed possible? Okay, so will I give myself 15 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 6 hours? Decide a time period and see if you can start to work towards getting out of that mood. So instead of your mood controlling you, you control it, and you will start to see magic happen in your life when you start to do all of these things. Last but not the least, stop chasing pleasure, start chasing experiences. What do I mean? What's the difference? So when we start to work with pleasure alone, then it's very momentary. Okay, so very for that minute we'll feel good about buying something new, or having that. So it's all very external. Rather, if you start to choose an experience that gives you inner peace, choosing peace over pleasure. Okay, pleasure is short lived, and it comes in spikes, and then you fall also in the same manner. You go high, you go low, and it's a roller coaster rise. Inner peace has this quality of being very, it's like equanimous. You're in the same state. You don't get sad when sad things happen. You don't get too happy when happy things happen, because you understand that this is the seasons of life, this is the cycle of life. It's going to be good and bad. I shouldn't allow myself to go too deep into the sadness. I shouldn't allow myself to get too happy. And that's when you start to choose peace. And the minute you become a programmed person into choosing peace over pleasure, most of the time you'll start to see a certain amount of inner calm walking in. And that inner calm is directly connected to your everlasting happiness. You do all of these five things, really becoming an observer along with your experiencer, living more in your future rather than your past, making sure that your emotions give you feedback to create the feelings you truly want to choose to feel, not remaining a slave to your moods, rather becoming a controller of your moods. And of course, last but not the least, understanding that I'm not going to chase momentary pleasure. I'm going to choose wisely inner peace in every situation. What will give me peace is the kind of thought I'd love for you to have. When you go about these five things, I can assure you one of the things you will start to notice is happiness is going to start to come back into your life. With every choice that you will keep making, you will just keep getting more and more deeply impacted with happiness becoming a daily way of living. And then you know what, you don't have to move into those negative things that keep happening around us. You can actually operate in every situation from your happiness being intact. Thank you. I will see you in the next podcast.